a solution that was built by GCP and SecuPi teams in order to demonstrate how we are able to do the identification of data before it leaves Google GCP confidential compute area, and then allow it to be encrypted when it is on different SaaS services. Here we selected BigQuery, and then how we are able to decrypt the information when it arrives to a specific user. The solution is really flexible, and we can do it for any cloud vendor when it's on-prem or when it's on the cloud. We selected to demonstrate today the following topology. We have on the left side, we have the Google GCP compute on which we deployed a Kafka producer that simulates data that is a clear text data. We've installed SecuPi enforcement point on this producer, and from that moment the data starts to be encrypted or de-identified, moving it to the Kafka sync connector that pass it to BigQuery. In this area, when the data is on the cloud on a BigQuery service, which is not on the confidential compute, is not using confidential compute, the data is completely encrypted, again based on the policy that we defined, and then we are able to demonstrating in this demo how a user which is using a Tableau desktop on his machine is able to see the information in the clear, and we are doing it by the fact with the help and installation of additional enforcement point of SecuPi on the Tableau desktop, or on the wrapping the driver, and we will see how it works. We'll start the demo by looking on the BigQuery table that we created. So in the BigQuery console, we can see that we created a dataset SecuPi -123 under GCP CC schema, and the table name is SecuPi Kafka Avro, and we are starting from an empty table. Okay, so this is the small table just for us to be able to demonstrate how we are streaming data, and as we said, the table is empty. Let's look on where we deployed the Kafka producer and the Confluent connector. So we deployed it on the SecuPi VM that we have created, and we are using confidential VM service of GCP. You can see it is enabled. On top of it, we installed both the Kafka producer and the Kafka connector. And what I want to do now is to start the producer and to simulate data streaming. And as we can see, when I'm starting the service that produce data, we will start to see it arriving to the Confluent console. Actually, it's moving to the Confluent connector, and this will take it to the BigQuery table. So just before we are looking on what we see on the BigQuery table, you saw that now the topic started to stream data. And I think that it's important to look here. If we will take one record as an example, okay, let's take an easy name, something like that. So we can see that first name Caron and last name King and SSN, everything it's clear text. Okay, when we have produced and got the information in the Kafka streaming, it was clear text, and then before we connected it to sync connector of Confluent, enforcement point impacted and encrypted the information. So you can see first name is encrypted and also SSN is encrypted. We will look on it later. We are using format preserving encryption here, so you still see it as an SSN, but it's already encrypted. If we go back to the table and run again a query to select data, we will see that we have data. And as you can understand, the data arrived to BigQuery in an encrypted and de-identified state. Okay, what we want to show now is actually the other parts. Now someone come and want to consume the information, if it's a business analyst or whatever, and actually have we installed here. We installed, as an example, Tableau desktop, and I am connecting to the same table on GCP, and I will do refresh in order to get the data from BigQuery. The data on BigQuery is always encrypted, always de-identified, and now we will see that we are retrieving fresh data. And what I want to show you here is that here you're actually getting the name back decrypted, and also the SSN. We'll look on it in a minute. How we do that, where we defined all those rules, we will go back for a minute to the web browser and we look on the console. We will look on the SecuPi management console. As you can see here, just a few seconds ago, the dashboard shows real-time activities. We see that someone retrieved data. It was us when we connected from the Tableau and we selected information from this table. And actually, you can see that we have rewritten this information. What it means, we have a policy, and the policy is saying you need to rewrite the SSN and the first name based on the rules that we have in the management console. And what are the rules? We have a simple rule, very generic one that we are using, protecting AutoGuard data access. And when we look on the data access, we look on the definition we have on a database, we can see that when we are consuming data, ingesting data from Kafka, we have a rule. We are saying that SSN and first name need to be encrypted. Okay. And we also saying that when you are accessing a database with those tables, with this table, you have policy on top of it. So as you see, we are stating that this data on REST will be encrypted. Okay, it's encrypted on REST for everyone, but we have also rules and policies that are saying that all users that are using the policy, this is of course very generic and usually will not be used in production, but all users, all roles will be able to see the data in a clear text if they are using the enforcement point of SecuPi. So wherever you install the enforcement point of SecuPi, you will be able to see it in a clear text, and this is exactly what we see here. Okay, if we will compare the data on BigQuery, always encrypted, and on the Tableau, we can see that it's decrypted. Let's take a look. And I mentioned, I think the last point that we can look at is the fact that the SSN is also encrypted. It's something that you can not see if you are just looking on the two data sets. So what I will do here, let's select, for example, here, let's do a select, and we'll select a specific user now, or specific last name, or we can find someone which is, let's look for Abbott. Okay, so where last name, Abbott, and let's run it now, and maybe see your favorite color is purple, just to limit the number of let's see if we have small enough set here. If this sorry, let's run only this, and we see that we have only one name. Okay, cool. So we have only one record with last name Abbott. Let's look for the same record here. Let's see if we can. Okay, it's A. It's good. It's easy to find it. Let's filter them out, and what we can see that the first name is Amy, something that BigQuery user will not be able to know, but we can also look on the SSN and compare them. As you can see, SSN here is encrypted. Okay, it's not the real SSN, and what we have here, it's the real SSN decrypted, looking as SSN, and this was the example that we have. on how we are de-identifying information before it arrives to any cloud service like a BigQuery or a SaaS offering where you don't want your data to be identified, and then how you are able to take this data and to re-identify it and put it back in a clear state or masking. By the way, you can put any policy or any rule. You can say that it will be partially masked or whatsoever. Any policy, any capability that we have at SecuPi on the desktop or on the on-prem facilities where you want to de-identify or re-identify the information. Thank you.